morning, it's Marcel, aka Artifact. Welcome back to the Producer Mindset. The reason why I actually do these Producer Mindset videos is because I really think that understanding the core principles and ideas behind what you're doing with music production and your actual mindset when you're going into it, I think really maximizing that and really getting good at this part of the game helps you with everything else. So I want to really share all my production tips and techniques on how I make sounds, how I make bass lines, how I do this particular EQing or something like that. There's stuff you can often already find on YouTube, like how to make certain bass sounds, and I want to show you the way that I make mine as well. But I think that these kind of videos about concepts are something that you can really, it's like understanding the real basics and just being able to do those really, really well. It's sometimes a lot more beneficial than learning certain techniques, because then you can kind of train your mind to sort of think for itself a bit more, Anyway, that's what I think. Anyway, it's just before 9 AM in Berlin. It's really cold, it's 1 degree, but I thought I'd wake up and come out and do this video straight away, because last night in my group chat on my Patreon Elite Squad, not trying to promote it, although it's wicked, so in the group chat I always learn so much from the other producers in there. We have producers from the Netherlands, from Portugal, Spain, Germany, UK, US, Puerto Rico. The community is just wicked. But I actually kind of learn more from these guys than sometimes I feel like I'm teaching them, in a way, which is funny, but it's great, because someone throws a really good idea out and then I get to explore it. And anyway, yes, last night we were talking about shout out to Random Gravity and No Comply. We were talking about this video from Dave Pensado's mixing YouTube series, and one of the recording engineers on there was called Jack Joseph Puig. I don't know how you say his last name, but JJP I call him. Anyway, he's an absolute legend, and he was wearing this kind of black cap, the bent thing at the front. So I thought I'd copy him, because he's pretty good. It's serious when you've got the bent cap and the front down. It's like I'm in the business, Anyway, he has some absolutely amazing mastering and mixing advice. And a few of the things that he touched upon were some of the things I was thinking, I need to make a video and explain this about how you listen to your mix and reference points. Because I really feel, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel people really overvalue having the perfect setup, the perfect speakers, the perfectly treated room, and basically, and then you're just going to rely on this alone. So that's but that's one reference point of many, and having the perfect listening setup, there's still just one listening setup. And for me, I definitely think I could still improve my mixing and mastering a lot. I'm never happy with my own kind of standard, but I have received lots of compliments from people, which I'm always sort of unexpecting. But I do get a lot of compliments from people saying, "Oh, your mixes are super clean and clear and crispy, and how did you do this?" And that, personally, I don't really believe. I always believe they could be better, but I mean, obviously they must be okay. So I might as well share what I think is the most important when you're doing, especially when you're trying to do that final sort of tweaking and get the sort of the fairy dust, as they call it on the video, the final kind of sparkle in your mixdown and mastering. So for me, it's not about at all having the perfect listening setup, because some of the best mixdowns I've actually done was kind of in a cupboard under the stairs, really, really shitty little room in my parents' old house. because I didn't have my own studio, I basically just had to use their little room. Like, it was basically a little cupboard under the stairs. And essentially, what I ended up doing was just whacking up the volume in like this little room, just turning it up really loudly, and then like walking around the rest of the house and listening to how the mix sounded from other rooms. Like, sometimes I'd leave the door open to this little room, sometimes I'd close it, but I'd just be walking around with the sound turned up while my parents were at work or something. And, you know, hearing the mix from, it's not only about different speakers or different headphones, it's also like where you are in the room, and there's so many other things that come into play, like when you're like really trying to figure out, you know, how you could improve the like final quality of a sound. So I'm going to go this way. I'm kind of walking around, people are following me. It feels a bit weird talking to a camera on my own at 9 AM in the morning, but anyway, it's pretty nice around here though. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So multiple reference points is more important than having just one perfect reference point. So obviously this goes into having, you know, monitors as a reference point, and having headphones as a reference point. So those are still the two most important things that I think about. But then you go a level further and think about when you're listening on your monitors in your studio or in your wherever you're making music, you know, sitting in front of them in the correct listening position. That's one reference point. But then what about, as they were saying, as JJP was saying on the video, like the feel of the console, like how much vibration there is coming off from the desk. Like, that's also another reference point. That's also trying to tell you something. And like I was doing before, like going out into a different room, hearing how the mix sounds from that room, from in another room, that's another reference point. And these things sound a bit wacky. Like, why would you not just listen to the mix in front of the speakers like you're supposed to? Well, you actually notice certain things, not always, but sometimes you notice certain things sort of pop out from the mix, like, oh, this bass is really it's kind of just gone away completely at this one particular moment in the track, and I only really heard that like sharp contrast while I was like listening from another room. So these kind of crazy little different ways that you listen to your mix can really like tell you a lot. My camera had to run out of battery halfway through the video, but yeah, as I was saying, I already learnt some of these kind of ideas when I went to university from one of my lecturers who talked about, you know, the importance of how you listen to a mix and where you listen to it. And it's not just, you know, in the perfect listening position, it's under the desk, it's in a different room, it's referencing on different speakers. And yeah, just I feel like people sort of overlook this sometimes. And yeah, I've solved many problems within a mix just from listening, you know, underneath my desk and listening to the way that the desk is vibrating, and sort of, yeah, just closing my eyes and really honing in on that specific in that specific listening kind of environment. So definitely get creative with the way that you hear your mix, because it's not just about the sound of the mix, like to your ears, you know, how you hear it is not the only way that you can solve problems in the mix. As JJP was saying in the video, it's you also feel music, you know, you feel the vibration and you feel the way that the sound hits your body, the way it hits your skin, the way it reverberates around the room on the desk. And these are all ways that, as he was saying in the video, it's like how the music is talking to you through like vibrations and feelings. And every time you have this extra reference, there's a way that you can understand music is trying to tell you something, and you need to figure it out. So you need to figure out, you know, exactly what to do to make the song sound as good as it can, you know? And these little extra ways of feeling the music really give you like a little bit of a advantage and can help take your sort of mixes to the next level. So anyway, I hope you learn something from that and just sort of approach the whole mixing and mastering kind of thing in a different way. So you're not just obsessed with, you know, getting the perfect room, the perfect monitors, and although that's really important, and the reason why it's important is because you want the most realistic sort of clarity when you're making these decisions during your mix. And by having really good monitors, a room that's treated, that doesn't have reverberations or reflections, gives you a more truer sound. And this is why I love to use really good headphones, because you don't then have the interference of the room when you're making these decisions. But again, you know, playing things loud in a room does give you like another dimension and perspective on your mix, you know, even if the room's not treated. So it's all a big circle really, and you need to just train your mind to make your own decisions and just draw from as many references as possible. But yeah, I hope that's helpful for you. But yeah, camera cut out again. Definitely check out the link below and consider joining my Patreon Elite Squad community. As I said, the stuff that sometimes gets posted in there just completely inspires me and changes my whole direction of, you know, what I'm doing or what I'm thinking about. So it's definitely the best group chat that I've ever been a part of. And so I'm not trying to just promote it, but you know, these guys are just, they're showing me things as well. So it's just a wicked experience. Big ups to everyone already in the group. Shout out to Random Gravity and No Comply for this awesome advice. And yeah, I'll link the original video down below as well, so you can check that out. And have a wicked day.